Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Dr. Julina and my fellow friends. So imagine standing in a room full of chapters and a professional desk coach. Suddenly, a leader stands up wearing a Himalayan national outfit that we have never seen before. So his name is Tisharin Tokde, the Prime Minister of Bhutan. So our research will show how Tisharin Tokde blends his cultural identity into his experience in formal meeting, which helps him his nation to be recognized at the global stage. And we also demonstrate how his language study amplify the environmental pillar of the ESG framework. So to discuss this strategy, we will touch two simple social linguistic basic terms. The first one is register shifting. So which means adapting your language style based on social context. For example, Tisharin Tokde shift from a relaxed storytelling style in his TED Talk to a highly formal diplomatic style at UN Nations. In diplomatic, this helps in linguistic hegemony. So according to Karabakh 2013, this is the idea that there are levels of authority for languages in a certain place. So when you use prestigious standard of language, people will look up to you and take you more seriously. So by mastering this diplomatic register, Tisharin Tokde puts himself at the top of the place and forces the people to respect his small nation Bhutan. And the second one is lexical borrowing, which means that you take one word from one language and bringing it to another. So Tisharin Tokde used a term called cross-national happiness. This is a direct translation from a Bhutanese concept, Gyalong Gakik Palsong. So in Western culture, they separate nature and money. So they only have words like GDP, which is gross domestic product, which fails to capture Bhutan's spiritual and ecological values. So by translating and borrowing from English, Tisharin Tokde managed to tell the whole people that to show a success of a country, we don't only look at how much money you make, but also how the country takes care of its people and also its nature. And moving on to his 2016 TED Talk, like what I said before, he uses informal and persuasive speech. So to connect with the public at that place, he uses personal storytelling and also humor. So we will go back to what I said before, the one that he wears, the traditional dress, right? So he actually makes jokes about himself doing that and say that this is the world's biggest pocket while taking out an item one by one from his dress, like his phone, his book. Because of that, he actually breaks the cultural barrier between him and also the audiences, and also close the gap of him and the audiences. So how we want to look the shift between this TED Talk, which is informal and persuasive, to a formal and diplomatic style. Well, I will pass this to the next presenter.
Continuing from where we left off, in the linguistic variation section, particularly in his 2024 Undang address, Tokde completely discards all jokes and informal agenda and instead adopting a more formal and diplomatic register targeted at world leaders. In social linguistics, how they talk to align themselves with elite institutional power structures. By using this procedure, standardized security registers, it ensures that this environmental appears to command the absolute global authority. Now moving on to the element section, where we compare identity and power relations. According to Arshad et al. 2005, identity refers to how speakers use language to communicate and express who they are. So, according to our analysis, Tocqueville constructs class identity as a small yet morally authoritative function. However, the function of this identity varies across contexts. For example, in the TED Talk, he introduces Bhutan as an unfamiliar nation to the world, while in the Unga address, he no longer introduces, but instead establishes himself as a global leader in presenting conflict solutions like the shared human policy. This shift also reflects power relations, where during the TED Talk, he showcases soft power strategies through humor and global solidarity, while his United Nations speech exerts a more institutional authority, references to policy and international responsibility. Lastly, we bring this all together to our ESG value, particularly the environmental component of the ESG framework. Basically, it's about how a nation addresses ecological challenges like carbon emissions, biodiversity loss, and resource depletion. In our analysis, Tocqueville consistently uses environmental responsibility terminology like carbon neutrality and climate vulnerability as a rhetorical tools to exert authority on the international stage. He effectively turns Bhutan's ecological identity into political legitimacy on the global stage, proving that language is what transforms abstract environmental facts into a binding moral responsibility. So to wrap things up, as noted in our figure, the visual arrangement of the poster was assisted by Gemini, and while the content analysis and research are entirely original and written by us.